And Ford was the only major U.S. car company not to take bailout money during the last recession. And do you have a comment or suggestion for the current economic or the current government shutdown that's taking place right now?
I was, as you were asking the question, I was kind of thinking about which way you would go with it. And I thought a lot of people ask me what it's like to testify in front of Congress, especially with respect to your bankrupt competitors. And I forget that one. But what I was thinking is the most important thing is when you testify in Congress is a fly there on your corporate jet. It gets it off to a really good start. Could you even playing pool here? With respect to your question, it's a really serious issue. And I'm just confident that our leaders are going to figure out a way to start working together for the good of the United States of America.
Technology has been very important to what you've done at Ford. Talk about the idea of the connected vehicle and how that fits into the success you guys have had.
Well, this is a very exciting development, I think, for all of us because of the Internet of Things, and we're all going to be connected, and information is going to continue to be ubiquitous. In our case, we committed to being best in class in terms of what the consumers really want and value, and that was quality, fuel efficiency, low CO2, safety, and of course smart design that you just mentioned. In our case, we took a point of view that we wanted to be supportive of the consumers and all of their devices. So we adopted a brought-in philosophy into the car. So instead of embedding the technology, we're using all the smartphone devices, and we're agnostic to which device that works well for you. So when you bring your smartphone into the car, then we allow you to use that smartphone. We provide the voice activation so you can keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and yet use your smartphone through voice, and you can actually not only interface with the internet seamlessly, but you can also manage your apps that go with your phone too. So I think the next step is going to be that we're going to end up with embedded modems in the car, and now the car will really be another vehicle or another instrument on the internet. And I think that the fact that we are adopting that philosophy, keeping the driver as a center of the attention, is probably the most important thing we can do to removing distracted driving and making drivers better drivers.
What kind of car do you drive?
Well, I drive a different car every night, and we have at any one time we might have 50 different cars that are being designed, for the future. So every night I try to drive a different car, but also I alternate between Ford vehicles and our competitors. Because remember when I said that we were going to be best in class? So we take every car from every competitor apart, down to every little component, to know everything about that vehicle. So one of the things that I suggested to our team when I first arrived is, let's all drive the competitor's vehicle, and then we fill out an evaluation form. And it's the neatest thing because it means you really do know what the competitors are doing, and you know the areas of improvement. And I remember the first time I thought this was a great idea. So there's a garage below the world headquarters of the Ford Motor Company. And so you drive into the garage in the morning, and all the Ford vehicles were there. And I suggested that we should drive our competitor's vehicle. And the manager of the garage said, "I don't think so, Mr. Mullally. You can't allow a Camry in here." I kept thinking, just a second, let me check. I am the leader. There's nobody else to call. So John, I'd like a Camry here tonight to drive. Oh, I see. You want to drive a Camry? Yes. So when you drive in the garage now, you'll see every competitor's car there, in addition to the Ford vehicles. And it's so fun to actually benchmark, because when you make a brand promise to the consumer that you're going to make the best cars and trucks in the world, then you can't finesse that. You need to do it, and so it's so neat to be able to do my own benchmarking. So usually some people ask, maybe you would like to ask which one of those cars I like the best. Maybe you'd like to ask that? Okay, I'll be glad to answer that. Yeah. Okay, so here's my answer to that. So here are my favorite cars. My favorite cars, starting with Ford and going smaller up to larger. okay? You guys want to write this down? You're writing it down, okay. The Fiesta, these are my favorites. The Fiesta, the Focus, the Fusion, the Taurus, the Mustang, the Escape, the Edge, the Flex, the new Explorer on a unibody construction, oh my gosh. The Expedition, the new Ranger worldwide, the F-Series trucks, the #1 vehicle in the United States for 31 years, the #1 truck for 37 years in the United States, the E-Series vans, and the Transit family. Those are my favorite. And that just happens to be the entire product line that serves all the markets worldwide. Now remember, we have a relationship now. All you got to do, A. Mullally, Ford.com, send me a little note. I'll take care of your car needs.
How much you can talk about this, but I know that Microsoft is trying to recruit you to replace Ballmer, and I want to know what you look for in a company to decide whether to make the switch or not. I know what made you make the switch from Boeing, and what would be the point that would have you switch to Microsoft. I just got an offer from Microsoft, so I want to know if you want to be going to be my new CEO.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. They're a great company. With respect to Microsoft, I love serving Ford, so I have nothing new to announce besides serving Ford. Your question is really, I think, really a good one, and I'll start at probably the same experience that you're going through. When I never really thought I'd leave Ford, and this is kind of different because people today, I don't think this is an overgeneralization, are switching jobs a little bit more often than when I was growing up. And I was just so happy to be at Boeing. It was so exciting. I had a chance to contribute to every airplane design, and I never really thought I was going to leave Boeing. But another advice I got from my parents is always be open, to the possibilities. And when Bill Ford called, I knew I was kind of in trouble because I didn't say no right away, because I was just so interested, because it was Bill Ford, the great-grandson of Henry Ford. And these are two great American and global icons that contribute to economic development and energy independence and sustainability. And as I think I mentioned, in the end, I felt like I was being asked to serve a second American and global icon. But you have, Microsoft's a great corporation. You have great choices today with these, especially these global companies, to serve, all around the world with them. So good luck to you too. Of course, as Microsoft, we work with them really closely on the sync system. So everything we're talking about, connectivity and voice activation and stuff, we did all of that innovation with Microsoft. They're a great partner. As is Apple, as is Google, as is Facebook, as is Amazon, because they're partners. We're partners with all of them.
Michigan was built on the industry of the automobile.
Yes.
And in the past time that you have been the CEO of Ford, Michigan and Northern Ohio have had some of the highest unemployment rates in the country. What is Ford's commitment to helping the people that help build Ford?
Oh, it's so important. The most important thing that we can do and we're doing is to create an exciting, profitably growing Ford, because we are now offering all of these employment opportunities that we couldn't do if we weren't growing. To your point, not just Michigan, but the automobile industry in the United States really suffered, for many years, as you know, and the effects of that on everybody were tremendous. I think probably the best thing that somebody asked earlier is that the automobile industry in the United States has really turned the corner. They're focusing on the consumer. They're focusing on quality, fuel efficiency, safety, in our case, really smart design. And we are now competing with the best companies in the world right here in the United States. And that wasn't true, 7 years ago. And so in our case, we've announced that we're going to be hiring nearly 15,000 new employees over the next couple years, and great salary jobs, great hourly jobs, and great careers. And so that's our commitment. The best thing we can do everywhere we operate in the United States is to grow by making the best cars and trucks in the world and provide ever-increasing job opportunities.
Right now, it seems like the current trend is with the cars is the social media and kind of the technology with that. What do you see as being the next new trend and kind of the next new area that Ford goes into?
Well, with respect to what you just said, I think that's very interesting too, because the philosophy I described about the connectivity and you bring in your device, no matter what device you bring in, then we use that device. The neatest thing about that is that you have one life, and so you don't have different devices whether you're outside the car or inside the car. And so that has served us really, really well. I think the world is going to continue to evolve when you add a modem in the car, because now you are really part of the Internet of everything. And I think that's the future for everything. And now that opens up unbelievable opportunities, right? You think of the Facebooks, think of the Googles, think of the Microsofts, think of the Amazons. I mean, everybody wants to get to you in that car, not only the driver, but everybody else inside the car. So one of the neatest things one of the experiences I've ever had is I was invited to address the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It's probably one of the biggest consumer electronics shows in the world. And we were so pleased to be invited to join the Consumer Electronics Show as an automobile company. And so we shared our hybrid vehicles, our plug-in hybrids, our all-electric. We showed them our connected vehicles. We showed them sync, being able to manage the electricity with your smartphone, finding out where the cheapest rates are to charge your car, finding out what the status of your car, knowing where all the charging stations were, so you could have a life with an electric vehicle. And I can remember that one of the headlines after our presentation was, because the application writers, they always like to say apps, because I think it's a shorter way of saying applications. And come on, you guys, I'm wearing you out here, aren't I? I thought that was really cool. So the headline at the end of our presentation has said, Ford the brand, Ford, the mobile app of choice. Is that cool? We're going, oh my goodness. So that's really cool, because it was like we are working a mobile application, and Ford is the application. If you want the best one, then come to Ford. So I think this connectivity is going to be one of the biggest transformations in all of transportation, but especially in the automobile industry. I think you'll have a relationship with your Ford store, like your Apple store, where you'll be able to flash the car, every couple months. You'll have all the latest applications, the latest upgrades, and because it's going to be another application, another mobile application. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest transformations in all of transportation, but especially in automobile. It's very, very exciting. But again, that's why Ford, this opinion about keeping your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road and really developing the voice recognition